Well, football season is finally back here in Tallahassee. Welcome inside here to Doak alongside Ryan Pensy. I'm Scott Kotick, and Ryan, it's finally the time we've been anxiously awaiting for. So many times you watch on TV, there's baseball on, there's golf on, but there is nothing like the start of college football season, especially here at Doak.
Yeah, it's got no offense to the other sports, but this is the time of year that I'm looking forward to the most. It's college football season. You turn on TV this morning, you get an early morning game from Ireland, then college game day at 10. Driving in, you sense all of the excitement about Florida State football. It started to build as the weekend progressed, and it's just time to play football now. We've been waiting and talking about all the excitement, and it's game day. We're ready to go.
And we got here to work at about noon today, and there were still people tailgating outside. You can tell the excitement is at an all-time high for Jimbo Fisher's third year. Let's talk about Murray State. The opponent coming in today, I think the guy we both look at is a guy named Chris Brockman, their quarterback. Let's talk a little bit about him. What a challenge is going to be for the Knoll defense to defend him today.
Well, I think it's going to be tough, and I don't take anything away from this guy. He's one AA quarterback, but he threw for 3,200 yards, preseason OVC Player of the Year. I think he's going to be a threat. I don't think that you can just overly assume that you can come into this game and automatically shut them down. This is a high-powered offense. Chris Hatcher is going to have all kinds of tricks up his sleeve from his days back at Valdosta State. But the Seminole defense needs to come out and set the tone early. I think that they can do that. And if you can get in Brockman's head, it's going to be a long day for the Racers.
The one thing we have talked about endlessly is how good the Florida State defensive line is. Let's talk about the tone they need to set, because I think the one thing Florida State may have over every other team in the nation is depth, especially at defensive tackle. How big of a role does that play when you're playing a team like Murray State that loves to get those quick hitches and really spread the ball around?
Well, I think it's very important, and you can look at games when teams play teams like Navy or Georgia Tech with the triple option. Anytime an offense is going to use any type of hijinks whatsoever, the key is the guys up front have to stay where they need to be. If you can play your position where you need to be, a lot of times you can shut those defenses down, but it's the guys that want to go out there and get that highlight reel performance and knock somebody out. A lot of times those turn into big plays. You got to avoid that, but you're right. I think up front is where it gets started. You got the two bookends on each side with Werner and Jenkins. They could cause some real headaches for Brockman today.
The big thing I think we all want to see is especially how the offensive line is going to go. How are they going to block? We're going to see some new guys. Cam Irving and Menelik Watson never played a game at Florida State. The Noles can get the running game early. Man, this game should be an easy win for the Noles.
Yeah, I know everybody's talking about the offensive line, and they want to see how the two guys on the outside are able to compete. To me, though, I want to see what Chris Thompson and Devontae Freeman are able to do after coming back from the injuries from last year. Both guys bouncing back from back injuries. This will be the first real time that they're going to get popped. And let's see how they're able to go and how long they're able to go. I don't think depth is an issue at the running back position. I think it could be huge, though. If you remember, and granted it takes a while to remember back, but Chris Thompson was a dynamic running back when he was fully healthy 2 years ago. If he's even at 90%, I think that this defense from Murray State's in some real trouble today.
Is there any question in your mind that Kelvin Benjamin is the one guy that you want to see play football today?
Number one. This is the type of game that you're going to see some of these younger guys who we've been hearing about. You heard about Kelvin Benjamin in the spring game, number one overall pick from the team. I think you're going to see some big things from him today. Keep an eye out for Ronald Darby on the defensive side. And then who's that guy, which is the big question, that steps up that maybe nobody's talking about right now? And that's going to be a huge thing. Is it a Nick O'Leary who comes out and has a huge offensive game? We don't know. The exciting thing is we're going to get to see just in a few short hours.
And finally, one of the great things is we revealed on our Florida State football page on Facebook today some awesome new stuff the Noles are going to be wearing. New cleats, new gloves, new socks that are really neat. Let's talk a little about that, because that's kind of the one hidden thing. Nowadays in college football, you got to love the gear, and these guys are going to get to wear some sweet stuff today.
Yeah, any little changes, the fans, the players, everybody seems to notice. And Nike came out with some really cool stuff, some new gloves, some new cleats, as you mentioned, some new shoes. So keep an eye out for that. If you haven't seen it yet, facebook.com/FSU football. You got a complete photo gallery there, and I'm sure they'll be showing it quite a bit tonight on ESPN3. I'm excited for game day, Scott.
Yeah, and remember, Seminoles.com/Gameday. Our Game Day Central is your home for everything Florida State, be it Ryan and the Seminole IMG Sports Network crew. Great social media information, video updates, so on and so forth. Game Day Central is going to be your home for Florida State and Murray State. So for Ryan Pensy, I'm Scott Kotick. We'll see you after the game.